So folks, 2 years rigging, I didn't know that. So local with parent. Read this description. Do you know how to use this stuff? The transformation of the target bone is evaluated relative to its rest pose local coordinate system, thus including the parent-induced transformation. Okay, so what is very bad in Blender, not bad if we don't know how that things work, but it's not intuitive, right? So it's bad. So basically, I think this should be the default, right? Because you see, this bone is a mapper bone of deltas, XZ rotation, but it's not functioning. I'm just showing it as an example. So there's a transformation bone constraint for the x-axis and for the z that I'm not using. So just for the x-axis, so you'll see what is the problem. So you see, when I move the foot bone, the master key foot bone, you see that this bone is bone constrained to the type, which is this red one here. So what happens is that this bone, which is parent to the mechanism type, which is the blue one that I've hidden there, not only that, this bone is, okay, there's a bone constraint here and there's another, that's for other things, so this is not usually required. But if I want to map the rotation transforms of the type from this other bone, which has nothing to do with all that, it's just a mapper mechanism bone, whatever. But imagine anything, any bone that, the problem is that because this bone, its local coordinates are not changing if I pose it to this. Then if I have just stuff like local space, you'll see that nothing happens, right? The bone is not responding because it takes the min and max x rotation from the type bone, the target, right, of the bone constraint, and then it transforms it into based on the x sources there that I picked there. So the y-axis will move 3 meters to 0, so that will do this right, local space stuff, right? But the problem is that this is not happening. Why this is not moving? Well, because this local space doesn't take into account the parent relation transforms. I don't know if I should call them transforms because they don't appear as transforms. The Blender doesn't recognize unless, so it's a different path of transforms, let's say like that. And here, if I change the target local with, however, if I posed manually, that works. But I don't want to pose this. I want to pose this. So no move, no motion there. So instead, we get the target parent with local space, which the transformation of the target bone is evaluated relative to its rest pose local coordinate system. So the original state, thus including the parent-induced transformation, and now it includes the parenting relation. And see, I don't need the owner. I don't even know why this is, but this is not required. The important here is the target, local with parent. I used this bone constraint for this space for some other things. I didn't know it would solve this particular problem, although I have some intuition about that. So that's how we use this stuff, one way of it. That's it, folks. Finally discovered something of interest, worth a highlight, because I've never seen anyone explaining this properly for a concrete rig case like this one. Enjoy, folks.